Hello everyone, welcome back to our final video in the Intro to Python course. And today for our final project, we're going to make an animal quiz. So, are you a fan of quizzes? Would you like to make one yourself? In this final project, we're going to build an animal quiz together. Even though the questions are about animals, you can really make it about any topic you want to. If you like books, if you like movies, this project and program can easily be modified to be about any other topic of your choice. So, what happens? We want to build a program that can ask the players some questions about animals. They get 3 chances to answer each question, and each correct answer will score 1 point. At the end of the quiz, the program will reveal the player's final score. The program makes use of a function. And a function, for a refresher, is a block of code with a name that performs a specific task. This function will let us use the same code repeatedly without having to type in each and everything every single time. Python has a lot of built-in functions, but it also lets us create functions of our own. So, when comparing the player's guess to the correct answer, it shouldn't matter if the player types capital letters or lowercase letters. All that matters is that the words are the same. We want our program to ignore the cases of the letters, so that the player's answers, like if the first letter was capital or if all the letters are lowercase, it won't matter. So we want our program to start, and then at the beginning it should set the score to 0. We want it to display guess the animal. And then after that, we wanted to ask the question to get user's answer. Check answer if it's correct, and if it's not, we should check if there's any chances left. If there are chances left, we want it to go back and ask the question again and get user's answer. If there aren't any more chances left, then we should ask if there's any more questions. If there aren't any more questions, then we should display the score. If there are, then we can ask the next question. And then once there are no more questions, we wanted to display the final score and end the program. Okay, now we're going to put it all together. Hopefully, maybe you've had a time to think about what kind of functions you're going to use in your program, how you're going to structure. Maybe you've created a flowchart for yourself. Maybe you've written and jot down some notes in a piece of paper. But now we're going to put it all together and make our final project. So it's now time to build our quiz. We're going to start by creating the questions and then the mechanism for checking the answers. Then we're going to add the code that gives the players 3 attempts to answer each question. So we'll start by creating a new file, as always. And I'm going to name this file Animal Quiz, but you can name it anything you want, as long as you remember it. First thing we want to do is create the score variable, and we want to set it to 0, right? And then we want to introduce the game. So let's create a message that can introduce our game to the player. We can, I wanted my introduction message to be guess the animal. So I'm going to say print, use a print function. And then we want to ask a question to the user. So we call this variable as guess1. We want our program to get user input. What is the largest animal in the world? So I want that to be my question. Next, we're going to define our function that will we're going to build a check function that can check if our player's answer is correct. So we should put this code at the top of our script before score 0, because it's a good practice to define all our functions before we actually write our program. So this program, check_guess, is going to check if the player's guess matches the correct answer. So the 2 words in the brackets are the parameters. So this line, the one that I just wrote, says that score variable is a global variable. So it ensures that changes to the variable can be seen throughout the entire program. I also want to write if our guess is equal to answer, we want our function to print correct answer. And then we want our score to be equal to score plus we want 1. We want to add a point to our total number of scores. Make sure you don't forget any brackets, otherwise you'll get a syntax error. You should always want to double check your work like when you're writing it as you go through it. After that, we want to call our functions. So now we add a line at the end of our script to call and run our check underscore guess function. So underneath our guess1 variable, we want to write check guess because we want our program to check the user's answer after. So this piece of code will check if guess1, if the user input is equal to whale, which is the correct answer, and the second parameter in the function. So let's do a quick test and see if what we did so far was correct. Save it. It's largest whale. Right. Okay. So far we're on the right track. Okay, so now what's left to do is just to add more questions. We'll add a total of 3 questions in this program. So let's do a guess 2 equals their input function. This time we'll do which bird is the only one that can fly backwards. And then we want to check our guess. Instead of guess 1, we're going to put guess 2. And this should be equal to hummingbird. Next. Our last question. We're going to call this variable guess3 for consistency. And our last question, which insect produces honey? The answer for this one are E. Okay, so after adding our questions, we want our next line of code to reveal the player's score in a message when the quiz ends. So we want to add this to the bottom of our file under the last question. We want it to print your score is, and a plus sign. Once this, we're adding the built-in string function, and we're going to make our score a string. Because our score right now is a numerical value, and for that to be added into a string in the print function, we want that to be attached to a string. So we're going to use the built-in Python string function for it to be added to the string. If we don't do that, Python will show us an error because we can't add a string and an integer together. So what happens if the player types a capital letter whale, like instead of whale with all lowercase letters? Will they still get a point? Well, right now, no, because the code will tell them that it's the wrong answer. To fix this, we need to make our code a little bit smarter. So Python has a lower function which changes our words into all lowercase letters. In your code, we can replace our if guess equals answer with if guess dot lower equals answer. So if guess dot lower equals answer dot lower. So how this works is that both the guess and the answer will be converted into lowercase characters before being checked. This ensures that the code works whether the player uses all capital letters, all lowercase letters, or a mixture of the two. So if we run our code again for the third time, save it first. Okay. Well, I'm going to try capital letter this time. And it still says correct answer even if I use a capital letter. I say B, and it's still correct, and it prints our score. Your score is 3. In order to give our player more chances, currently right now the player has only one chance to get the answer right, and we can make this a bit easier for them by giving them 3 chances to answer a question. So we have to, in order to do this, we have to edit our guess check function, and after global score, we can make another variable, still guessing equals true. Can add a Boolean function. Attempt, another variable, will equal 0. So while still guessing and attempt is less than 3. Oh, don't want to forget the T. Add a colon. We want to indent this. Make sure we have the right number of indents. Right. Okay, so if guess.lower is equal to answer.lower, we want our function to print the correct answer. And score will equal score plus 1. So we're going to add a point to the total number of scores, or total number of points. And then we want to create, and then our still guessing will then be false because our players won't be still guessing. They're going to get the answer right, and they're going to move on to the next question if they have any more questions. Now, we always want to add an else every time there's an if, even if there's no other. Answer else if attempt is less than 2. The else variable asks the player to enter another answer if they get it wrong. So, if they get this one wrong, attempt will be less than 2, and guess would then equal our input wrong, try again. Attempt will then equal attempt plus 1. So we add 1 to the number of guesses the player has had. And we're kind of using attempt to keep track of the number of guesses the player has left. So our program knows when to stop asking the same question to our player. So if attempt equals 3, we want our function to print the correct answer. And that will be answer. So this code displays the correct answer after 3 wrong guesses, and we're just going to go back and make sure each line has the correct indent, otherwise Python will give us an error message. Okay, and I think we're good to go. So to know the player to know if the player has gotten the right answer, we need to create a variable called still guessing, which we did, and we're setting this variable to true to show that the right answer hasn't been found yet. Once the player gets the right answer, gets the question right, it's immediately set to false. So that would be here, still guessing is false. Okay, now all that's left for us is to run this program and see if it works. So, well, hummingbird, right? Even though the case is different. Which insect produces honey? Butterfly. Sorry, you got it wrong. Try again. Caterpillar. Moth. And no, I got it wrong. So the correct answer is B. And my score is 2 because I got 2 of them right. So yeah, there it is. We just created a simple animal quiz together. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the final project. And if you have any questions, you can definitely contact Ladybug and we can help you sort it out together. Also, if you created something that you're very proud of and you would like to show us, you can definitely let us know, and we'd be happy to look at the amazing stuff you guys come up with. Thank you. That is it for this course.